It's a weather alert day this morning because we do have some rain for the morning commute. It's going to be an inconvenient sort of thing. And then this afternoon, it'll be a bit breezy. We'll talk about when Imelda starts to pull away from the coast.
And with all of that, a rainy commute, Imelda bringing wet conditions to our area this morning. This is a live look at I-40 East in Raleigh from the WRAL Storm Tracker. What you need to know about the roads as you head out the door.
Communities along our coast are dealing with rain, wind, and rip currents from Imelda. This is a live look at Surf City this morning. How the state is responding after some of these same areas dealt with impacts from Hurricane Erin earlier this summer. We are tracking rain across our viewing area and along our coast as Tropical Storm Imelda churns in the Atlantic. It is shaping up to be a wet morning commute, and that's why today's a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. We have team coverage in the Triangle and on the North Carolina coast. We begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking the latest path for Imelda and the impacts here, Elizabeth.
We'll take a look here at the big picture. So Imelda is still off the coast of Florida, and it will continue to move away from the coast. It started that northwesterly turn already, and Humberto has also made that northwesterly turn. So both of those are gradually starting to pull away. We have a plume of moisture that's been coming up from the south, and we see that here across the area. The rain has really tapered off from Goldsboro northward up the I-95 corridor, and you can see the back edge of it continuing to pull off to the west. So rain is starting to taper off in parts of the viewing area already, but from Durham to Raleigh over toward Chapel Hill, this is one of the more heavily traveled areas. We are seeing some scattered light rain this morning, and so that's why it's a weather alert day. It may just take you a little extra time to get around. By lunchtime, most of the rain is over, and we're back to just a few sprinkles later this afternoon, but the clouds will linger. Here's a look at the latest path of Imelda. Could become a Category 1 storm late today or early tomorrow, and possibly Category 2 as it moves over Bermuda, which is not good news for those folks. This morning, weather alert day just for some light rain and some messy conditions on the roads. By midday, the rain continues to taper off, and we should be dry by the evening commute for the most part. It's wet out there in downtown Raleigh, though, right now. 68 is our current temperature, and looking at 60s for much of the day. It should climb into the low 70s this afternoon. We are seeing some minor impacts on our coast. I'll show you what they're seeing coming up in just a bit. Ken?
Elizabeth, 6:02, because of these wet road conditions, we do have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning. Let's check in with photographer Michael Joyner and Alley Cat-LaBar. Right now, you're on I-40 in Wake County. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we're near Lake Wheeler Road, and we're seeing that steady rain. Elizabeth just talked about the wet conditions outside, so we want to show you what's happening right now. We see the roads are wet, they're drenched from that overnight steady rain that we saw, and also we're seeing it's very, very misty, not impacting visibility too much, but you definitely want to have your windshield wipers on, as you can see those raindrops on the windshield there. Giving yourself some distance, giving yourself some extra time as you head out the door because of these wet, slick road conditions. But we are keeping an eye on these conditions here. Again, this is I-40 near Lake Wheeler Road. We're going to keep you updated, Ken.
Ali, thanks. And we can't encourage you enough to leave the house a little sooner than usual this morning just to be on the safe side. Right now, we're seeing very little to no delays coming into the capital city, which is really good news this time of morning. Similarly, we're not seeing any delays in Durham as well. All those major routes are delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And Tropical Storm Imelda bringing rain to parts of North Carolina this morning as it prepares to head out to sea. WRAL's Monica Casey tracking conditions in Curie Beach this morning. Monica, some of the main concerns include wind and rip currents there at the beach.
Good morning. You can probably hear the wind there in my microphone. That's been pretty steady all morning. We're now just seeing a tiny bit of rain coming down, and it's the first that we've seen since we've been out here. But if you take a look behind me, you can see the ocean is pretty rough, and it has been all morning. Governor Stein declared a state of emergency on Saturday across North Carolina to make sure assets at the state's disposal were ready to assist here along the coast. He said in a press conference in Southport yesterday, he has activated the state emergency response team, including public safety and transportation.
The storm will likely linger, and hazardous conditions on the coast may continue throughout the end of the week. So if you're visiting the beaches, please stay out of the water this week.
And some good advice there. As you'd expect, pretty much no one on the beach out here right now, and luckily no one in the water right now. Stein saying there yesterday that they are prepared for the worst but hoping for the best. Live in Curie Beach, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Monica showing us the windy conditions there at Curie Beach. We've been tracking conditions along other parts of our coast. Dare County and parts of the Outer Banks are expected to be under a coastal flood advisory starting this morning. Here's a look at what officials in Dare County were seeing yesterday. After Hurricane Erin earlier this summer, homes in several communities are now in danger of collapsing into the ocean. And homeowners are now worried that Imelda could provide a final push. Outer Banks photographer Donnie Bowers says there are plenty of homes in harm's way right now.
There's about 5 houses, probably Rodanthe, that are kind of sitting in the surf or near the surf, and there's probably 15 in Buxton that are sitting, in the surf almost.
Some homeowners have turned to putting up sandbags to try and fend off the ocean and this storm.
And you can track the rain and the tropics in real time. Be sure to turn on the push notification so you receive alerts about weather changes in your area.
Here's a live look at Capitol Hill this morning as the federal government is running out of time to pass a spending bill and avoid a government shutdown. The government runs out of money at 12:01 tomorrow morning. And as the clock keeps ticking down, people in our area are bracing for what could happen if the federal government were to shut its doors. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the federal courthouse in Raleigh. Kelsey, this could put federal jobs at risk.
Yes, Renee, thousands of federal jobs could be at stake here. Operations here at the federal courthouse in Raleigh could look a little different here in the next 24 hours. Time is running out for another government shutdown. This time tomorrow, all non-essential government functions could be at a standstill. We spoke with Meredith College political science professor David McLennan about what this all means. He says essential services like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare might not be affected initially, but there could be some serious disruptions in other government operations. The Trump administration is considering mass layoffs for federal workers. McLennan says that could impact North Carolina the most for people who work for government entities like the EPA or national parks.
All shutdowns have some impact. Some are fairly minimal, with shutdown is short, and some are much longer. But if people start getting fired, not just furloughed, that's going to add to the unemployment. We're already in a difficult job situation.
McLennan says that there likely won't be a quick solution for this. That's because of partisan rifts, as well as the fact that we've had some longer government shutdowns in the past, like the one in 2018 that lasted for 35 days. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center with a look at U.S. futures this morning, now responding and bracing for a potential government shutdown. You can see here everything in the red this morning. S&P 500, Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ. We actually began to see some of these numbers drop around 4:30 this morning, with the Dow Jones losing 0.14% this morning. So on the data front, several reports are due after the opening bell, including on house prices, consumer confidence, and job openings. So we will continue to follow the data here as the markets continue to respond to this potential government shutdown.
Thanks, Laura. And today we're expecting to learn new information about the victims in the deadly shooting at a waterfront pub in Southport. Yesterday, a judge ordered 40-year-old Nigel Edge to be held without bond and is expected to be back in court in 2 weeks. The former U.S. Marine is charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. Edge is accused of firing from a boat into a crowd at the American Fish Company in Southport on Saturday. Speaking in Southport yesterday, Governor Stein called the shooting horrific.
As you've heard, Southport is a tight-knit community. It is known across the state as a tight-knit community. And all of us can just imagine a warm Saturday night, a special date night, sitting on a dock by the river, by the water. No one goes into that kind of special night thinking that tragedy is possible.
Investigators say the shooting was premeditated, but they do not have a motive.
Cuts are on the way for the police and fire departments in Rocky Mount as the city deals with a financial crisis. The city now has to slash $30 million in less than a year. City leaders held a special meeting last night where they said every department will be impacted. The police department could lose roughly 10 to 15 positions. The fire department could lose around 5 to 10 jobs. The city says non-essential vacancies and newly created jobs will be among the first to go. Rocky Mount City Manager says the cuts on the way could be painful.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. We definitely have some difficult days, months, years ahead. But all of us working together, we will definitely make this go in the right direction.
WRAL has learned that the city savings fund had about $100 million back in 2023. That's the year the city decided to raise the starting pay for police officers by 36%. And that savings fund is now down to around $20 million. A state investigation. Johnston County Schools is accused of keeping a student with autism out of the classroom with other students. Why a disability rights group says this is part of a larger issue.
And Medicaid funding. Governor Stein says cuts could be on the way as time runs out to pass a budget. The warning from state officials to hospitals and doctors.
And we have some showers out there this morning, especially around the Triangle. A little farther east, the rain has tapered off. I'll show you when it will taper off across the entire viewing area coming up.
And here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers: 1, 3, 27, 60, and 65. The Powerball is 16. The multiplier is 5.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14, we start, of course, with the big picture, and we have Imelda off the coast of Florida. It's already started to make that turn to the north and west. And there's Umberto, not too far from Bermuda. It's also started that northwesterly turn as well. So we'll just start to see improving conditions. We still have a flow of moisture coming up from the south, but our eastern counties have started to dry out a little bit. We still have rain around the Triangle, which is going to make for a messy commute. And that's why we have a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We're seeing rain from Wake County to Durham County, all the way down towards Sanford, Carthage, and Southern Pines. Our hour-by-hour rain chances, 80% chance this morning, but by lunchtime, it's down to 40. And then this evening, we'll just see a few sprinkles as that rain starts to taper off across the area. It's wet out there in most places this morning, though. 69 Wilson, 68 in Durham and Fayetteville. We still have some showers that are falling right now. Again, it's a good chance this morning. By tomorrow, we could start the day with a sprinkle, but the sunshine returns by the afternoon, Ken.
Elizabeth, weather and traffic every 10 minutes. And here's what you can expect as you get ready to head out door this morning, particularly the southern loop of the Beltline is part of your morning commute. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, the westbound lanes moving away from us. Traffic beginning to pick up just a bit, but moving nicely. Checking a couple of secondary roads that tend to get busy as the morning wears off. You're coming in from Roseville on Lewisburg Road into I-540, delay-free. Similarly, we're not seeing any delays coming in off of US 1 and Wake Forest as well. And Michelle, coming up, we'll take a look at some of those drive times heading into Durham this morning.
All right, thanks, Ken. State officials are investigating Johnston County schools after a complaint involving autistic children. Disability Rights North Carolina says the school system improperly kept a student with autism out of school for hours every day and took away the student's communication device. The group claims this is part of a larger pattern of keeping students with autism out of classrooms with their non-disabled peers. Attorney Glynis Haggins says the trend is alarming.
We're starting to see a pattern. It's like if it were 1 or 2 students, that's one thing, but we've seen this now with 4 students from one district.
In another investigation earlier this year, the state did not find systemic issues in Johnston County's special education services. Johnston County schools did not respond to a WRAL News request for comment.
Cuts to the state's Medicaid program could be coming as soon as this week. Governor Stein says the lack of a new state budget by the October 1st deadline has left Medicaid short millions. State lawmakers debated 2 plans to boost Medicaid funding last week. But in the end, GOP leaders failed to reach a deal. Lawmakers went home without approving anything. The state has now been warning hospitals and doctors that the funding cuts could now be passed on to them. Republican lawmakers pushed back, saying cuts should not be needed immediately. We have full coverage of the funding fight in the NC Capitol section of our website. It is 6:17 as we continue to track Imelda. Elizabeth, this is the perfect kind of tropical storm in that it veers off to sea. We get some of the rain benefits, but we don't have to worry about wind or flooding damage.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to see, just nice steady rain like we saw yesterday. Probably going to see anywhere from, a half an inch to an inch total, but there have been some pockets where it's been a little heavier. We'll take a look at that coming up. Right now, the rain is starting to taper off in our eastern counties. So the rain has stopped, at least for now, from Goldsboro northward up the I-95 corridor, also parts of Halifax County back toward Warren County and Franklin County. The rain has stopped. But of course, our most heavily traveled areas between, say, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, and south down toward Clayton, we're still seeing some rain, making for a messy commute. So it is a WRAL weather alert day just for the chance of some showers for your morning commute. Once we get to 11 o'clock, notice how the rain almost completely disappears. We could still have a few sprinkles lingering into the evening, but the evening commute looks a whole lot drier than the morning commute does. We get into tomorrow, there could be a sprinkle early on, and then after that, we'll gradually see some clearing. Futurecast trying to hold on some clouds through the afternoon, but I think we're going to go ahead and see enough dry air that we should see the clouds thinning and breaking up by tomorrow afternoon. How much more rain in our forecast? Probably somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch. Of course, we've had some significant rain in some places. We'll take a look at some of those rainfall totals coming up. The wind is starting to pick up. We're now seeing winds gusting to 22 in Durham and Raleigh, 19 in Goldsboro, and 16 in Clinton. Our wind steady out of the northeast at about 10 to 15, and it's likely to gust up to around 20 to 25 this afternoon. Typically, that's not enough to cause power outages or trees to fall, but you'll notice that it's a breezy afternoon out there. So we're following both of these storms. We have Umberto and Imelda. Imelda may become a hurricane late today or early tomorrow, but they're both starting to make that turn out to sea. We are going to have some coastal impacts as these storms continue to move away from us. Again, you can see here's Imelda moving away today. Umberto makes that northerly track a little farther and then makes that right turn. So here's a look, of course, as you can watch this, Imelda just follows Umberto right out to sea and moves right on out of here. So what do we see for the next 24 hours? A gale warning. That means winds at 40 to 55 miles per hour, a high rip current danger, and a high surf advisory for almost the entire coastline. You can see there's the high surf advisory pretty much up and down the coast. We also have coastal flood alerts from about Topsail Island northward, 1 to 2 feet of inundation, especially along the inner banks and the outer banks. For us, of course, we'll start to see that rain tapering off a bit, and we're looking at temperatures really starting to feel comfortable as we see all this moving out. Our highs will be in the 70s for the next 7 days or so.
Oh, great to look forward to that,
yeah.
Elizabeth, thanks. Hey, listen, we just got reports of a crash on I-40 eastbound near the South Saunders Street exit. We're seeing it right there off to the shoulder of the road, not causing any problems for you this morning, but just thought you should know about it as well. We do have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning. Photographer Michael Jordan, Ali Catabar giving us this live look on the Beltline right now. You see the windshield wipers are going. Definitely you get out on the roads this morning, watch your speed, watch your spacing. It'll be very important so you can get to your destination safely. But really and truly, in terms of major routes heading into Durham, here's what we're looking at. Very little to no delays heading into Durham this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thanks, Ken. Supporting the NC State family, a football coach mourning the loss of his daughter after a battle with cancer. What the team's head coach is doing to help through this hard time.
Lead in food. 5 on your side is letting you know about a number of recalled items over concerns they may have too much lead.
If you see breaking news, you have a story tip, or take video or pictures of weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip straight to our news team. Some sad news from the NC State football team.
Defensive coordinator DJ Elliott lost his daughter over the weekend to pediatric cancer. Elliott's oldest daughter, Drew, had been fighting the disease for the last 6 years. Elliott wasn't on the sideline at Saturday's game against Virginia Tech. A fundraiser for Drew's medical team said that Drew, quote, simply wanted nothing more than to be a normal teenager and lived her life that way. Head coach Dave Doran says NC State will continue to support Elliott.
I can't put into words how hard it is to watch someone that you work with lose a child, and it's hard. And so, all I can do is try to be as supportive as I can.
Drew's funeral is Thursday, and Coach Elliott will return to working with the team this weekend.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
One of Hollywood's most famous couples is splitting up, and AI actress backlash.
Yeah, Ken Smith is now here with a look at what's trending, Ken.
Yeah, Michelle and Renee, let's start with that Hollywood split. Actress Nicole Kidman and country music star Keith Urban separating after 19 years of marriage. The couple made their home in Nashville, but no longer lives there.
Shocking.
Right?
Oh, my goodness.
Celebrity breakups are nothing new, but if you were to pick one celebrity couple that would last and go the distance, it would be these two.
I gasped when I saw this notification. I said, what? No. But yeah.
So Hollywood is gasping about this, the creation of a fully generated AI actress sparking debate in Hollywood. Tilla Norwood was recently unveiled by an AI talent studio at the Zurich Film Festival. People in the industry have been quick to respond. Actress Emily Blunt told Variety that the news, quote, is really scary.
This is scary because look how real she looks. She is not real. And, so I'm saying she's a very unfair advantage over others because she's AI. They can make her do anything. They can make her look any way, talk any way, act any way. So, yeah, this is scary if this is where the industry is headed.
Exactly. And the Today Show will continue to follow this story as well about Tylee Norwood is her name.
All right. Thanks, Ken. Well, the Miami Dolphins picked up their first win of the season on Monday Night Football, but they lost one of their key stars on offense. Quarterback Tagovailoa, thank you, Ken, threw for 2 touchdowns in a 27-21 victory against the Jets. But it looks like star wide receiver Tyreek Hill will miss serious time after being carted off the field in the third quarter after dislocating his knee.
It's a messy start out there, especially around the Triangle. You can see the wet conditions here in downtown Raleigh. I'll let you know how much rain we'll see through the morning commute.
And we are tracking the roads this morning. This is a live look from the WRAL Storm Tracker. We are keeping up with what the roadways look like this morning as you head out the door.
And impacts along our coast. Imelda is bringing rain, wind, and rip currents. A live report on the latest conditions and response from state leaders.